She wears threadbare clothes and carries a worn canvas bag. Officer Marcus Thompson sees a threat. Poor, suspicious, out of place. Phones start recording. He demands to search her things. She stays silent. But stick around. They thought Sarah Mitchell was just another drifter. What they didn't know? She's Lieutenant Mitchell, creator of a battlefield system that saved hundreds, now under review by command. He held the badge. She carried the legacy. And when the footage hits the board, Thompson's authority won't just be questioned. It'll be revoked. Let us know where you're watching from and what time you found this. We read every single comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. Marcus Thompson savored the familiar weight of his security badge as he patrolled the pristine halls of Central Library. 14 years on the job had taught him to spot trouble, and the woman lurking by the entrance with her threadbare clothes and suspicious canvas bag practically screamed it. His polished shoes clicked purposefully against the marble floor, a sound that usually sent troublemakers scurrying. "Ma'am, I need to check your bag." Marcus Thompson's voice carried the authority he'd cultivated over years of protecting these hallowed halls. The woman's silence, her too steady gaze, only confirmed his suspicions. His fingers traced the edge of his badge, drawing strength from its brass surface. "I said, open the bag." The gathering crowd of students with their phones raised only fueled his certainty. They'd thank him later for keeping their sanctuary safe. When the woman clutched her bag closer, Marcus Thompson's patience evaporated. "This is your last warning." The satisfying rip of canvas punctuated his grab for the bag, its contents spilling across the floor. A military ID skittered across the marble, but Marcus Thompson was too focused on his victory to notice. "See? This is what happens when you don't comply. Is this how you treat a decorated veteran, Mr. Thompson?" The colonel's voice sliced through the murmurs like a blade. Marcus Thompson's spine stiffened as he turned to face Colonel Richards, whose eyes blazed with barely contained fury. "That's Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell you're harassing." Marcus Thompson's world tilted as phones recorded his transformation from authority to aggressor. The hashtag #LibraryShame flashed on a student's screen, already gaining traction. His badge, moments ago a symbol of power, now felt like it was burning through his shirt. Marcus Thompson's voice faltered as Lieutenant Mitchell gathered her scattered belongings with quiet dignity. The same silence he'd interpreted as suspicious now read as controlled strength, and something cold settled in his stomach. Had he always been this wrong? A student's voice carried across the hall. "It's trending on Twitter already." The crowd's whispers grew louder, phones raised like weapons. Marcus Thompson's hand trembled as he reached for his badge, the brass no longer gleaming but dull under the library's harsh lights. Type, "Shame," if you've ever witnessed someone abuse their authority. In the security office later, Marcus Thompson stared at his reflection in the badge's surface. Years of assumptions, of quick judgments, of feeling righteous in his authority. Had they all been like this moment? His grandmother's words echoed from childhood. "Power shows you who a person really is." He'd always thought it showed his strength. Now, watching his face distort in the curved metal, he wondered if it had revealed something far darker. Would his empire of control survive this challenge? The trending hashtag suggested otherwise, and for the first time in 14 years, Marcus Thompson felt the ground shifting beneath his feet. Officer Marcus Thompson's reflection stares back at him from the break room mirror, his security badge catching the harsh fluorescent light. The morning's confrontation replays in his mind like a broken record, each flash of memory more damning than the last. 15 years of maintaining order, of being the unquestioned authority at Sterling Public Library, and now whispers follow him through the stacks like accusatory shadows. "Did you hear about Ghost Eye?" The words drift through the thin walls, making Marcus's hands freeze mid-polish of his badge. A nervous habit turned torturous ritual. "Sarah Mitchell, the one Thompson tried to throw out? She saved 847 lives with that system she developed." Marcus's throat tightens as he remembers his own words. "Ma'am, your appearance doesn't meet our standards." The badge in his trembling hands suddenly feels heavier, its surface marred by fingerprints he can't seem to clean away. His mentor's voice echoes from his training days. "Remember, Thompson, appearance is everything. We keep order by maintaining standards." But those standards, where did they come from? As Marcus scrolls through his phone, past articles about Sarah Mitchell's decorated service record flood his screen. The Ghost Eye system she created after losing her entire team in an ambush had revolutionized battlefield awareness. And he had blocked her entrance because her worn clothes and distant stare didn't fit his image of a proper library patron. The break room door opens, and Marcus quickly pockets his phone. Officer Chen, his youngest colleague, hesitates in the doorway. "Sir, there's something you should see." Her usual deference is gone, replaced by a careful neutrality that cuts deeper than outright criticism. On her tablet, security footage from previous weeks plays in damning sequence. 12 incidents, 12 times Marcus had maintained standards by turning away patrons who didn't fit his definition of acceptable. A homeless veteran working on his resume, a single mother in worn clothes bringing her children to story time, a disabled student whose mobility aids he'd questioned as unnecessary props. The colonel who verified Mitchell's identity? Chen's voice is quiet. He's requesting all our incident reports for the past year. Something about a systemic review of veteran access to public services. Marcus's hands clench around his badge. The familiar weight of authority now feels like evidence of guilt. He remembers his father, also a security officer, drilling into him the importance of keeping certain people in their place. Scientific studies on his phone reveal the ugly truth. Implicit bias in public institutions, the devastating impact of prejudice masked as professional standards. A notification pops up on his phone. The library board is convening an emergency session. His supervisor wants to meet immediately. The hashtag #GhostEyeSees is trending, with security footage from the morning's confrontation already gathering thousands of views. Marcus Thompson, who built his identity on maintaining order, watches as that carefully constructed world begins to crumble. His badge catches the light again, and in its reflection, he sees not the stern authority figure he'd cultivated, but something far more disturbing. A man who had turned away heroes while claiming to protect standards. Have you ever watched your certainties dissolve? Drop 1. If you've had to face your own prejudices. The weight of revelation presses down as Marcus realizes he hasn't been maintaining standards. He's been enforcing prejudices passed down through generations, each polishing of his badge, reinforcing barriers that should never have existed. In the distance, a door opens and closes. Footsteps approach the break room. Marcus Thompson, security officer of 15 years, feels his hands shake as he realizes the standards he's upheld have never been about security at all. They've been about power, about control, about keeping people in their place, his place. And now, that place is crumbling beneath his feet. "Officer Thompson?" His supervisor's voice carries through the door. "The board is waiting." Marcus Thompson's hands trembled as he gripped the security desk, his eyes fixed on the surveillance monitors showing Major Chen and Sarah Mitchell deep in conversation. The badge pinned to his chest, once a source of pride, now felt like a burning brand against his skin. Their voices, though muffled by distance, carried an urgency that made his stomach churn. "I trusted your assessment of the situation, Thompson." His supervisor's words crackled through his radio, disappointment evident. "Now we have military intelligence involved. What exactly happened during your confrontation with Ms. Mitchell?" Marcus Thompson's throat went dry as he watched more military personnel enter the library. His earlier confrontation with Sarah played on repeat in his mind, each remembered moment of his arrogance making him wince. The security cameras had captured everything: his aggressive stance, his dismissive tone, the way he'd blocked her path. Now those same cameras were documenting his slow unraveling. A junior librarian hurried past, shooting him a look that spoke volumes. "They're reviewing all security footage from the past month," she whispered, not quite meeting his eyes. Marcus Thompson felt his professional facade crack further, remembering similar confrontations he'd initiated, now wondering how many other veterans he'd misjudged. The sound of military boots on marble floors echoed through the building, growing louder. Marcus Thompson's hand instinctively reached for his badge, fingers tracing its edges as if seeking reassurance. But the metal felt cold, alien, a symbol of authority he'd grossly misused. "Sir?" A young security officer approached, tablet in hand. "The hashtag #LibraryGuardShame is trending. Someone posted clips from this morning." Marcus Thompson's world tilted as he saw himself on the screen, his face contorted with unearned authority as he confronted Sarah. The comments scrolling beneath the video were merciless, each one a nail in the coffin of his careersome. "Drop 2 if you've ever watched someone's power crumble in real time." His radio crackled again. "Thompson, report to the director's office. Immediately." The walk felt endless, each step echoing with the weight of consequences he'd never considered. Through the glass walls, he could see Sarah Mitchell pointing at something on a computer screen, Major Chen's face growing darker by the second. The security badge caught the fluorescent lights, throwing accusatory gleams across the walls. Marcus Thompson remembered how he'd polished it just that morning, feeling invincible. Now, 6 hours later, that same badge might as well have been made of lead, dragging him down into depths of his own making. The whispers followed him down the corridor. "Did you hear? Military investigation. Thompson's the one who—" Each fragment of conversation was another crack in his carefully constructed world of authority and control. The door opened, and Major Chen's voice cut through his thoughts. "Mr. Thompson, we need to discuss your history of discriminatory behavior against military personnel." The words fell like bombs in the quiet office, each one exposing another layer of his prejudice. Marcus Thompson watched his career, his reputation, and his self-image crumble in the space of those words. The security cameras continued their silent vigil, recording every moment of his downfall for posterity, while somewhere in the library, Sarah Mitchell continued her vital work, her presence now a testament to everything he'd gotten wrong. Share this moment of reckoning and type badge if you believe power should come with responsibility. Sarah Mitchell sits at her usual table, lost in concentration, unaware of Staff Sergeant Williams' predatory gaze from behind the biography section. My fingers drum against my security badge, the same badge I used to wave in her face just days ago. Now that metal shield feels heavier, weighted with purpose rather than pride. I notice William's third pass by her table in 20 minutes. His movements are too precise, too calculated. 5 years of security work screams warnings in my head. My throat tightens as I recognize the same cold focus I once carried when confronting Sarah, but his intent is far darker. From my monitors, I track his methodical circling. The security cameras catch every furtive glance, every seemingly casual adjustment of his jacket. My hand trembles slightly as I radio dispatch. Marcus Thompson here. We need silent backup in the reference section. Code yellow. The words taste different now, protective rather than punitive. Sarah looks up briefly as I position myself at a nearby desk, pretending to check reports. William's eyes narrow at my presence. He knows me as the guard who tried to bar Sarah's entry last week. A bitter smile twists his lips, assuming me an ally in his prejudices. The thought turns my stomach. The cameras catch his hand slipping into his jacket. My heart pounds as I spot the telltale outline. Before he can move closer to Sarah, I stand. Staff Sergeant Williams, my voice carries just enough to freeze him mid-step. Step away from the table. His mask cracks for just a moment. Surprise, then rage. Guard Thompson, he forces a smile. Just doing my rounds. Those aren't your rounds to make anymore. I move between him and Sarah, who's now fully alert. And that's not standard military issue you're carrying. The library falls silent as 2 police officers emerge from the stacks. William's hand twitches toward his jacket. Don't, I warn, my badge catching the fluorescent lights. It's over. The metallic click of handcuffs echoes through the hushed space. As the officers lead him away, my security badge reflects his shocked face, the same disbelief I wore when my own prejudices were exposed. Sarah stands, understanding dawning in her eyes. I had to make it right, I tell her quietly. The library's supposed to be safe for everyone. That's what this badge really means. The incident hit social media within hours. Library. Hero trends alongside security footage of the arrest. But unlike last week's viral moment of my shame, this one carries a different weight. Comments flood in. From villain to hero, and this is what real change looks like. My badge sits heavy in my palm that evening. Its surface no longer gleams with authority, but glows with something more valuable. Redemption. I think of Sarah's nod of acknowledgement, worth more than any commendation. Has someone who once doubted you become your defender? Share your story of redemption below. The security footage plays on local news, but I can barely watch. Each frame shows not just William's arrest, but my own transformation. From gatekeeper to guardian, from barrier to bridge. Perhaps that's what this badge meant all along. Marcus Thompson stares at his reflection in the library's glass doors, the morning sun casting shadows across his security uniform. Yesterday's viral video of his confrontation with Sarah Mitchell, #ThompsonShame, still burns in his mind, but today brings a different kind of weight. His security badge feels heavier than ever before. The sound of approaching footsteps makes Marcus Thompson turn. Sarah Mitchell walks toward the library entrance, her canvas bag filled with materials for her veterans class. His throat tightens as she passes, her quiet dignity more powerful than any authority he once wielded. Ms. Mitchell, Marcus Thompson calls out, his voice catching. Please wait. The words he rehearsed all night suddenly seem inadequate. The security cameras were overhead, recording this moment just as they captured his shameful display yesterday. But this time, the lens will capture something different. Marcus Thompson's hands tremble as he unpins his badge, the symbol that had given him a false sense of power. "I was wrong," he says, each word carrying the weight of 24 hours of soul-searching. "This badge made me think I could judge who belongs here. But true belonging isn't about symbols or uniforms." The morning light catches on the metal surface as Marcus Thompson places his badge on Sarah's canvas bag. "Your service, your dedication to helping other veterans, that's real authority. I confused a piece of metal for actual worth." Sarah's response is characteristically measured, neither seeking vengeance nor offering easy absolution. The lesson hits Marcus Thompson harder for her restraint. In the background, his phone buzzes with another notification about the viral video, but it no longer matters. The real verdict is in the quiet dignity of the woman before him. Have you ever confused symbols for substance? Type badge if you've learned the difference between power and authority. Marcus Thompson watches as Sarah enters the library, her students already gathering for her morning class. Through the glass, he sees the colonel who exposed his prejudice yesterday now sitting in on her session. Veterans learning from veterans. The security cameras continue their silent vigil, but Marcus Thompson sees with new eyes now. His badge rests on Sarah's bag, transformed from a symbol of misused authority into a reminder of humility. The library's doors whoosh open and closed, each sound marking the passage of people Marcus Thompson once thoughtlessly judged. Now he stands straighter, not from false pride, but from the weight of understanding. Share this moment if you believe true authority comes from service, not symbols. Thompson. Learned. The morning sun climbs higher, casting the library's shadow across the entrance where Marcus Thompson stands. Yesterday's viral moment exposed his prejudice. Today's quiet revelation shows his path to redemption. The security cameras record it all, bearing witness to how a man's understanding of authority can change when confronted with true service. Marcus Thompson takes his post, watching Sarah teach through the glass doors. His uniform feels different now, not a symbol of power, but a reminder of responsibility. The badge on her bag catches the light, no longer a shield to hide behind, but a bridge to understanding. The doors continue their rhythm, and Marcus Thompson stands guard, forever changed by the hero he once mistook for a threat.